Untitled-Challenge.com. Want to give all of our web viewers here a warm welcome worldwide on our web stream. I'm Jeff Lepper, joined by Calvin Fish here in the booth. We'll have Ryan Marine down on pit lane as we get set to start our GT competition. GT, AM, and our GT Cup categories competing here this weekend for Sprint X. 1 hour long race, 2-driver format. They'll do a pit stop between 25 and 35 minutes, 60-minute long race. And the pros come basically, I'd say, woodwork here, but they're racing all over the world. Some of them getting the call Tuesday night to come here and race, Cal. A lot of great drivers, talent, and teams in this paddock now.
Yes, it was fascinating with this Sprint X format to see some of the new drivers that have not been on our scene before. Case in point, the two Bentley boys, Maxime Soulet and Andy Soucek, got a baptism of fire yesterday, and they're sitting strong on the grid here today. The two Bentleys sitting in 4th and 5th position, so they could be a factor for a podium run here today as well. And Miguel Molina making his Pirelli World Challenge debut alongside Tony Vilander, who made his debut just 2 weeks ago at St. Petersburg, grabbing the first blood and the first victory for our ferry in quite some time.
Yeah, a little emotional victory there as well. I know Remo's watching to see if his team can make it 2 in a row. Thoughts and prayers are with you. With 2 losses in his family, he's back in Italy. Looking at some of the race highlights and stories that are coming out as well in the GT Cup category. 2 of the Porsches that were up in the front of the field yesterday penalized due to lack of tire change. It's a requirement and mandatory now that they do a tire change, 4 tires during the pit stop. So we'll see if that's going to change the outcome in our GT Cup category. And looking at our GT class here.
New cars, new faces. The Pirelli World Challenge Championship is back for its 29th season. Porsche driver Scott Hargrove is hot off a sweep in St. Petersburg, but he'll have to fend off 2016 champion Alvaro Brent's Bentley and a brand new Callaway Corvette in the hands of Daniel Kylewitz and Eric Curran. The Grand Prix of Texas at Circuit of the Americas is next.
Well, beautiful facility here, Circuit of the Americas. Calvin Fish, Jeff Lepper joining you here. We'll have Ryan Marine down on pit lane for the Pirelli World Challenge GT competition at this great facility. And Calvin, what better way to check this out than our Porsche track preview?
So Michael Christensen here driving the 911 GT3R Porsche for Allegro Motorsports on Circuit of the Americas. Coming up down the start and finish straight up to the first corner on the left-hand corner. Very bumpy braking zone, very slow left-hander. So really important to stop the car well on these bumps. Very difficult to get it right, to be honest. Use all the road and the track width in order to get a good flow through the next right-hander, which is quite bumpy, and all of this is just kind of a flow. Very important to get a flow through these S's, high-speed S's, very bumpy as well, quite hard to get it right. And then, yeah, just missing the apex will really harm you on the lap time, so really important to get all the apexes here and use all the track width possible without getting a penalty for running wide. Coming down to a really important corner here, really slow left-hander. The reason why it's really important is that it's low speed, and therefore there's a lot of time to lose and gain there, and especially coming off onto a very long back stretch. So it's really important to carry the speed with you down the straight, and then leading up to a next.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the most famous words in motorsports, we welcome Donato Bonaquisto, the Director of Marketing for VP Fuels, to give the command.
Drivers, start your engines!
Good fun there. Thank you to Ryan Marine down on pit lane for that command. Of course, VP Racing Fuel, our official fuel of the Pirelli World Challenge. Great to see their command there. Take a quick look at our Pirelli storylines here for today. And Cal, there's a lot going on in the paddock here.
There really is. It's a Ferrari front row sweep. Jeff Siegel's fastest lap yesterday that sets the grid for today was nearly a second clear of the factory drivers in the Alfari Motorsports camp that got the victory, of course. So big day for that team, potentially. The 31 car, Wei-Lu, was very fast yesterday as well. Can they bring it home today? Behind them, the 96 car, Pfaff Motorsports. They continue to impress. They'll line up third. But look for the Bentley boys. Maxime Soulé lines up fourth alongside Rodrigo Baptista, and Andy Soucek with our 2016 champion Alvaro Brent will line up fifth today.
Well, you talk about all the battling that they have to battle this track too. Looking at our Porsche race analysis, great track here at Circuit of the Americas.
Yeah, lots of elevation change. It begins with that massive climb into that brake zone for the very first turn. You can be 4 or 5 wide, but it funnels down. You got to survive that point right there as you crest the hill. Then you plunge down through the S's. Pretty bumpy this year. A lot of the drivers who have raced here before have certainly commented on the bumps that have established themselves since the last time they raced here, and they're going to be doing some work on the racetrack in the coming weeks to try and smooth things out. But even so, it just adds to the character of this place. As you see the drivers now trying to get some tire temperature into those Pirelli P0s.
Well, this amazing field paced by that classic BMW M3 GTS. We want to appreciate the fine folks from that Plano, Texas dealership, that classic BMW, providing our pace car and our BMW X5 safety car. Looks like I just saw the Pfaff Motorsports Porsche make a little bit of a spin right there. We'll have to watch out for that. But we'll pace the field as we get ready to go green. Yeah, it looked like Hargrove spun.
It's hand slow.
Oh, it is hand slow. Right.
You're allowed to be in grid position. Right, he's so maybe the front. Look at it.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that. Field coming down to take the green flag here for the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix of Texas as Jeff Siegel leads in that Ferrari of Vancouver next to the Ferrari Motorsports Ferrari onto the front stretch, waiting for the green flag here at Circuit of the Americas. And there it is, we're underway, Cal.
Great start there by our pole sitter. There's a gap there. Wolf Hensley's had to go to the back of this GT field. It's two Ferraris battling it out for the lead as they head up the hill into turn one.
Well, 5-6 wide as they come down here. Avell Print down to the inside. Watch out for that. Sorry, Andy Soucek behind the wheel there as Wolf Hensler trying to work his way back to the field. An earlier spin on the pace lap and had to start from the back of the GT class.
Scott Heckett there, a big move around the outside in the number 80 Lone Star Racing car. Had a brilliant podium run here yesterday. Pretty aggressive here on the start.
Wolf Hensler all the way back up to fourth that quick. We'll have to see if he did work his way back to the GT field, because that's a tremendous start for him.
Big stack up there. He may have made the long run around the outside and gained those positions back. Oh, he gets tagged there, right there. Soule was very close to turning that fast racing Porsche there in the middle of the S's.
Maximine Soule stepping in as a teammate to Rodrigo Baptista in our GTM category. Here goes Wolf Hensler looking to the inside of Heckert, trying to see if he can make a move. He thought about doing it. Rodrigo Baptista Baptista's car with Soule driving, protecting against Souček.
Yeah, Wolf thought better of it, swung to the outside, and suddenly the Bentley was committed down to the inside. Everyone just trying to settle in here in this opening lap. Crazy stuff there, but a great start for our pole sitter, trying to make a statement up front over the Ferrari factory driver, Miguel Molina, right behind him in the 61 Ferry Motorsport red Ferrari.
Well, you see that Lone Star Racing Mercedes-Benz trying to see if Heckert can make that move early on Molina, trying to get around him as everybody started to get in line. Got word from pit lane, the number 41 Porsche, unfortunately, Matthew Jaminet behind the wheel. Young Alec Udell set to step into that car. Power steering problems. No power steering right now. Going to make for a long race, Calvin.
Well, they took that hit yesterday. He and Andy Souček came together as Jaminet was leaving pit lane. Souček was on his out lap and got together in turn one. It kind of turned the bodywork into the front tire, and maybe it did some steering rack damage they weren't aware of. Meanwhile, up front, Siegel just hopping the curbs there. Pressure from behind from Molina.
Now you see Molina in that Ferry Motorsports Ferrari, both of the 488s. You got to think both these cars got to be pretty even, running the new Evo kit, the Mercedes, Porsche, and then the two Bentleys in line, nose to tail, to complete lap number one here at Circuit of the Americas. Wolf Hensler looking to the inside. Heckert defends. That was a move in response. You got to watch out for that, Cal.
Yeah, he's got to make that move early. Hensler is on fire right now. He's got a lot of pace. He takes across the stripe there, exceeding those track limits, tries to get the run down to the inside on Heckert as they plunge down that hill into turn two. Spoke to Wolf this morning. He said, I just lost the front tires yesterday in the aero wash following that car. Remember, he had a brilliant run, caught up to the two Mercedes late in the going yesterday.
He's going to try to see if he can recover from that earlier spin he had on the pace lap, just trying to warm the tires up, and just worked it out a little too much, I think, when he was going through there. But how about Jeff Siegel leading in our GT Pro-Am category? Wei Lu, his teammate, set to get into that field. You look back at our Pro-Am, Soule in second, and then third place, Ryan Dial with young Parker Chase in the Audi.
Super impressed with Scott Heckert. He does not have nowhere near the experience of some of these guys around him in this field right now, and hanging tough in the third position, chasing those two Ferraris that are up front.
Got a good shot there, that Callaway Corvette. Daniel Kylewitz behind that. Good story on that car. Lost a motor, found a local engine block that they had to drive around 500 miles to get all night, 40 hours away, getting that engine rebuilt on that Callaway to make the race here today.
They're doing everything they can, coming off a very strong debut weekend a couple of weeks ago at St. Petersburg. Had that motor issue, didn't have a spare with them, so they've been scrambling, but they're fighting hard to get points here in the second race of the weekend.
You can see going back to that DeVilbiss Mercedes as well from CRP Racing. A gentleman there, young Fabian Schiller, getting the call Tuesday evening in Germany. Hey, come out and do a race here in America.
Yeah, that's a late call, and he didn't even have time to get on the simulator and just watch some videos on the plane over. But he said, I'm learning fast. He's got a great apprenticeship that he's serving there under Nick Short and his teammate Daniel Morad. Look at this. Kylewitz looks down to the inside. That's a very brave move there on the inside of Spencer Pampelli. Looks again. Callaway Corvette has some pace immediately.
Matthew Jaminet doing a good job behind the wheel of that Porsche, the number 41 Loki, as we have a change for our lead. Not sure what happened with Siegel there, but Molina able to get around him, and now he's under attack from Heckert.
Yeah, Molina may have opened the door, and Scott Heckert is trying to follow him through there. Tries to get on power side by side as they crest that hill. Can Siegel fight back? There's a battle of acceleration down through the gears. Super tight there in turn three.
Oh, and you saw Jeff Siegel had to just give it up a little bit there, and that is going to allow Hensler to get back to the inside, but too much momentum on the outside. He's able to go back into third.
Big battle there for fourth between the two Bentley boys. Soule just hanging on from Souček. He said he was pleased after the run yesterday that he's beat his teammate. Well, his teammate wants to reverse that order here today.
Oh, good stuff in GT so far in our opening few laps. Look at the two Bentleys there. That's a battle for Pro-Am with the blue car, a Pro-Pro combination. Two Platinum drivers in the second Bentley, all with that K-Pax Racing team.
Molina now settling in at the front. Heckert continues to impress in second position. Rest of the field streaming through here.
The There's our GT-AM leader right now, Martin Fuentes in his Hublot Alpha Prime Ferrari 488 GT3, the car that he shares with Cesar Baccarella. He is your leader now in our GT-AM category right here at the start over David Eskew in his Mercedes. See our GT Cup field rolling through too. Alan Metney able to get the lead there as you see the number 80 Mercedes, the ACS Manufacturing Lone Star Racing machine, going to pick up our Optima Battery Best Start of the Race Award. So congratulations to that driver earning that award. And this is what happened yesterday in race number 1, Cal, as they come up to the hill into turn number 1.
Alvaro Parent had a big move from the outside, but everyone else washes out, pushes him out wide. He drops back a little bit. Then a big battle here between Morad and a fast-starting Alec Udell, touching the fenders there. Then Alan Mentney, little spin there from the lead in GT Cup.
Well, battles continue on through the whole field. As you see in our GT category, he was able to get underway. Great run there as the contact between Matthew Jaminet and Andy Soucek. Ultimately, Soucek able to continue. Jaminet's day was done.
Yeah, Jaminet was coming out of the pit. Soucek went for the apex, and then you see the forlorn Matthew Jaminet would see no further action, but the battle continued for those podium spots.
Yeah,
between Schiller and Heckert.
And how about this for that R. Ferry Motorsports team? Very emotional with the death of Remo Ferri's father. He's back in Italy. His brother last week as well, but very good win for that team in Ferrari.
Yes, a massive couple of weeks from that team. Big crash at St. Petersburg. A lot of work for the team, but the drivers repay the faith. They lead here today as well.
Got the sweep, got the win yesterday. Looking for the sweep today. Molina will give this car over to the primary driver, Tony Vilander, that we'll see in the sprint races as well. So these drivers going for that Sprint X championship, Cal. They're also going for a sprint championship and then the big almighty overall.
Yes, it's very important. Every point counts. And Tony Vilander caught quite the break at St. Petersburg in round 2 with the crash. He just got the minimum 50% of the laps in with the shortened race. They caught a big break there. They certainly deserve one with the amount of effort that they've put in recent weeks. But I tell you what, Scott Heckert, if he can hang on, remember Mike Skeen has tremendous pace in this number 80 machine that runs in the second position right there. So if he can hang close to that Ferrari, maybe Skeen can come back at Vilander in the second half of this race.
Yeah, set on pole yesterday, and not sure what happened with Soule back there. Maxime Soule in that Bentley as he's dropped a couple positions now. And as we get more on that Callaway story, let's get down to pit lane with Ryan Marine. He's with Eric Curran.
Thanks, Jeff. That's right. Eric, this has been an interesting weekend, to say the least, for you and the team. You're on track now, and it took a monumental effort to get there. How excited are you, first of all, to get in the car and then to hopefully repay the crew for all their hard work?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I'm really excited to get in this Callaway Corvette. It's been a whole lot of work for the guys all weekend, but the car's out there right now. We had to start from the back of the pack with a almost potential engine issue, so these Callaway guys worked like crazy the last couple of days. We missed yesterday's race, but here we are today, I think running 10th or 11th. So it's too bad it didn't go as planned, but still we're out there, and this Callaway Corvette has an amazing potential. I mean, based on what they've done in Europe and winning championships, we know we got the speed in this car. So we're just excited to get through this weekend, have a good finish today, move on to the next races. Daniel will be in the car at Long Beach, and then I'll follow up on the Sprint X races. But we've got our friends at Hubble Racing on board as well for sponsorship, and yeah, it's a great program. Reeves and Mike Zoner and Pete Callaway and all these guys just working hard. It's so much fun to be part of this program. We've been talking about doing it for years, and for me personally, be back in a Corvette World Challenge is pretty exciting. Now, you've raced the car in Europe. How exciting is it to get to race it here on home soil? Oh, yeah, no doubt. I mean, I haven't driven the car in a couple years, but it all kind of came back to me, and I've driven this track a million times. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun getting Daniel up to speed, but he's doing a great job. He's a quick learner. So, great group of ingredients. We'll get this right, and we'll be on the top step here real soon. Good luck in your stint. Thank you very much. Good fun from that Callaway Corvette team. Glad to see them do really all that work they had to do to make it out here, and then showing up in the 11th position right now, actually into the top 10 with Kowitz.
Prasanna's having a brilliant run here in the number 55 Dream Racing Lamborghini. Exciting news for his teammate in the last week, Jeff.
Yeah, Yuki Hirata was living in America last season when he was doing Pirelli World Challenge competition in our GT Cup, winning that championship. Now goes back to Japan, and congratulations to the Hirata family. Young Ricky was born last week, and I got to think, Cal, that's got to be some perfect timing for Yuki Hirata. Little Ricky born between the two races, huh?
Yeah, how did he figure that one out? That's amazing, but congratulations to the whole family. Very exciting times, and they're having an exciting run here today as well.
The stats setting up the time here, but Martin Fuentes doing a superb job in our GTM category. 3 wins on the season now, winning yesterday. Brings this new teammate with Cesar Baccarella and the Alpha Prime sponsorship with Hublot on this Ferrari, a brand new team, Garage Italia, and just love the livery on this car too. A little homage to the Italian and the Mexican flag. And Martin Fuentes, one of the great personalities in our paddock.
He really is, and he's got a lot of pace as well. I mean, he's hanging on to none other than Jerome Policamo, one of the fastest GT drivers in the world. So for a bronze-rated driver, Martin Fuentes can really get the job done.
And you can see the gap that he's built up over second place in that Security National Mortgage Mercedes from David Askew. And looking back here at our GT Cup leader, he led early with Alan Metney, and unfortunately had a spin later on. You saw that in our highlight of race 1 yesterday. Looks like he's recovered here today to lead early over David Baker, who won the race yesterday ultimately because of that. But both these Porsches were penalized, did not make a 4-tire change that was mandatory during that pit stop, Cal.
Yeah, I think everyone's adjusting to the new rules this year. Last year you had the option to maybe change 1 tire. This year's mandatory 4-tire change, whether you're in any of the GT classes. So for all of these teams, that's a big test, because some of these teams aren't that big operations, so to suddenly have to do a 4-tire change, effectively you got 45 seconds where the car was sit still, 77 seconds in total is the pit lane delta, and that has to happen between the 25 and 35 minute mark of this race.
Well, battle for 4th and 5th hitting up. How about this battle for 5th, 6th and 7th? Fabian Schiller, first time racing here in America, actually couldn't get here till Friday, really late Thursday night, due to even having to get a visa to get here. Is Ryan Dial,
nice
the
move
car
there.
he drove last year. Oh, and Schiller gets into the side of him, does not want to give up, as Dial says, well, I'll just let him go.
Well, Dial got punted late in the going yesterday by Jeff Siegel in that very corner, so he's going to be fired up. Remember, Ryan Dial drove this DeVilbiss Mercedes last year. He's not going to give Schiller an inch. This could get ugly in a hurry here.
As Dial just turns that wheel down to the inside, side by side as they come down here to turn number 19. Schiller does not want to give any ounce of light in between those corners here, and I think the winner of that's going to be Soulé, as both these cars battling.
Yeah, Soulé was trying to look for a way through there. It was almost a souffle between the 3 of them as they came across the apex of turn 20 there.
Oh, look at Brisson, too. This might be a 4-way battle here as you're looking for that 6th place.
Dial is going to be one frustrated Scotsman behind the wheel of that 19 Audi right now.
Looking at that DeVilbiss Mercedes leading Soulé in that Bentley. Here comes Dial looking on the outside. Now he's got the mirrors filled with Alessandro Brisson in that Dream Racing Lamborghini. Oh, right down to the inside. The Audi is really good on brakes, so he's able to use those binders to help plant that front end on the aero. Looking at a lot of that here today.
Yeah, speaking of Ryan on the grid, he said this is not a great racetrack for the Audi. We don't quite have the top speed as some of our competitors. I said, do you need more testing? So we did some testing, but we had a lot of electrical glitches. Didn't really learn as much as we should. So early days to this program is he's really mentoring his new teammate, Parker Chase.
That is 17-year-old Parker Chase, the youngest competitor in the Pirelli World Challenge competition. Just turned 17 as DeVilbiss Mercedes down there. And I believe that teammate we talk about, Dial, Ryan Marine, down with young Parker.
That's right, Parker Chase watching on just like the rest of us. But you got a vested interest. You're about to get into that race car. What do you think about what you've seen so far from Ryan and the battle he's in?
The battles are pretty good, pretty bad calls by the stewards. You know, we were just forced off track by another car, or he cut the track to get around us, and they still haven't called track limits, and they're not calling track limits on a bunch of other people. So I think it's pretty poor moves by the stewards, but Ryan's doing what he can to stay in front of that blue Bentley.
And you got to put all that behind you and do your job when the time comes to put the visor down. You ready to get in?
Oh yeah, I'm ready to get in. You know, I want to get that win. We're at home, so I want to win for all my family and everybody else here. So I'm just ready to get in the car and see what we can do.
Wish you the best of luck. Thanks.
Thank you.
Of course, they're sitting 3rd right now in the GT Pro-Am standings. 3rd overall, the team of Jeff Siegel, Wei Lu leading in that AM category. Soulé and Baptista leading in 2nd as he's battling for that 2nd place, trying to get up to that 3rd place Ferrari, as Soulé making that Bentley really big in that rearview mirror of that Mercedes.
Yeah, and Schiller's making his Mercedes even wider still. He was just ahead of the curve there in recognizing that Souley had got a nice run out of turn 19. Now he just chops across his bow there, heavy into the brakes, and runs a little bit wide. Bentley tries to come back at him. Ryan Dalziel there in their shadow.
Ryan Dalziel's trying everything he can to get around these two drivers. That is a battle for position between the Bentley and the Audi in our GT Pro-Am category. They're battling for that second position. Schiller battling overall. He's sitting in the 6th position as trying to get up to that podium spot as well.
He's learning fast. Had a great run to that 2nd position here yesterday. But it is intense up front. Souček is putting the pressure on Hensler just ahead of this battle for the 4th position.
As you can see, that DeVilbiss Mercedes leading over that Bentley as it looks down to the inside. Cal, that Opticoat sponsor right on the inside, trying to turn it down.
Yeah, it looked like Schiller was just going to leave the door open. Souley didn't get too aggressive there, picked his nose, and then said, I'm going to have to take it if you don't turn into the corner. Eventually, Schiller did just that and manages to hold on. And
you can really see that straight line speed as the Audi starts to lose touch there on the straightaway. Ryan trying his hardest to tuck in here as Schiller goes to protect that inside. Souley back to the outside here, looking for the over-under on the Bentley.
He is, and Schiller's doing everything he can to maintain that position, but the Bentley looks like it's got a lot more pace. He looks to the inside, keeps it clean. Maxime Souley is being super, super patient right now. He could have turned Schiller a number of times, but he's kept it clean. Dalziel, however, is hovering. How will that force the hand of Maxime Souley?
Remember, if you start losing one spot, you might lose 2 to that Bentley with that Lamborghini. Brisson just, I think, taking a little bit of a breather, let these guys battle it out and see what happens right in front of them.
Track limits right there. They're going to be calling it. They're going to be on top of Schiller. He runs wide. Souley gets a run through 19. It's an acceleration run into the brake zone.
Yeah, big mistake there by Schiller. Runs right off the course, 4 wheels over that line, and sort of self-policed himself as he lost that position. Now can Dalziel capitalize on that mistake that he made up here in turn number 1, losing that momentum through 20.
Souley's got to be careful, though. He exceeded track limits right there. He's going to get a warning for sure on that one. As he came off, he wanted to get on the power and not allow Schiller to come back out and down that front straightaway. These guys are really getting super wide here. I've got a feeling right till the race, the driver's steward is going to be on top of this shortly.
Just heard from race control as well that they are giving a warning to all the drivers on track limits. We'll see if these drivers can clean it up a little bit. Stick around. We're back here at our web call at world-challenge.com. We didn't get a chance to say it at the beginning of the show, but Calvin and myself are here trying to build our CBS Sport Network coverage for the race here that you'll see next week as well on CBS Sports Network. So if you'll see some delays, some pauses, some different breaks, that's why. But we're going to follow you along here for all of our teams watching at world-challenge.com. Got some unstable cars there, Cal.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Dalziel was close to losing it there over those bumps into that brake zone for turn 11. He is fired up. He wants to get by that bright orange machine that he campaigned last year to good effect. They won here last year, Daniel Morad and Ryan Dalziel with the DeVilbiss machine. Dalziel down to the inside. He is a fired up Scotsman. He takes the position.
Wow, what a great move that car was. You see how much he was right on the brakes, on the very edge of adhesion into the braking zone with that car danced around. I mentioned it earlier, Alessandro Brisson sitting there looking, seeing where these guys are strong, where they're weak, and where he might make a move. And Matthew Jabinay in that number 41 Loki Porsche, no power steering reported from the team on that car. He's earning his money here today, getting a workout.
He'll be pumped up in more ways than one. His biceps will look like leg muscles by the end of this one, and then Alec Udell has to try and take over the reins of that. Great performance by the Dream Racing Huracan team, though. Looking really strong there for Lamborghini in the thick of this battle.
Ran the GT Cup version of the Huracan Super Trofeo last season en route to the championship for Yuki Hirata and Alessandro Brisson, both in the Sprint X category and overall in that category and class on the sprint side for Yuki. The brand new daddy, of course. Hi to his family and young Ricky, already 1 week old, watching dad get it done here at Circuit of the Americas. But Ryan Dalziel, that vertical bridges True Speed prep car now, Tyler Tatovic, based out in California, so really looking forward to their home race at Long Beach.
Yeah, for sure. Everyone's really excited about the race on the streets there. Certainly a showcase for these GT machines.
Now you really get a good chance to see how bumpy this track has come. We've talked about it a lot, the different bumps and the braking zones through the apex around these corners, and just watch that front splitter, these side skirts smack. You look at the Vilbis Mercedes, sparks shooting out the side of that car.
Yeah, and talking to the track management, they're bringing in a grinder from Europe in the next couple of weeks. They're going to go to work on this, particularly from turns 1 all the way down to turn 12. As Giamone looks down the inside of Brisson and takes the position.
Oh, that's got to be just really tough to be slow speed like that. The big Pirelli P06 as he turns right down to the inside. And what's it like, Cal, driving a car with no power steering? I mean, how heavy is it?
Well, if a car's designed to have no power steering, it's not a big issue, but these cars with the geometry and the steering ratio are designed to have it. So when you lose it, it's like muscling a tank around here for 25 to 35 minutes. Giamone just has to hang on and try and just do whatever he can. The problem is if you have a little twitch and you're trying to catch it, it kind of works against you. So it's kind of in those moments, if you're able to just turn in nice and smoothly, but when you're in the thick of a battle like this and you're reacting constantly, it will wear you out.
Is there any settings in the car, some traction control or ABS settings that might make it easier?
Well, possibly. Maybe he can just loosen the car up a little bit if he's developing a lot of understeer and just can't get it turned. But whatever way you look at it is going to be a fierce battle for both drivers here today.
Well, Wolf Hensler and Andy Soucek starting to battle for that fourth position, as Soucek closing in on Hensler. And Hensler, had that incident at the pace lap, either spun or drove off course, had to start from the back of the GT field, and then he charged his way on the first lap. And I'm not sure, Cal, if he may have just overran the Pirelli P0 tires a little bit, or that Porsche on that start.
Well, that's what happened yesterday. Remember, he made that big charge, got right on the tail of the 2 AMG Mercedes, and they couldn't go any further, kind of plateaued. And he said, I pushed the tires hard, and then when I was getting the aero wash, just kind of grind the fronts away on him. So he learned something there, but there's a limit to what you can do. When you come through these high-speed S's, you're just constantly in that aero wash, and these cars are so aero-dependent, takes away the front downforce on your car, and then puts all of the load through the tires.
That Capex Racing team got that Bentley repaired as well. Had some damage there to the left side with that damage from Matthew Giamone yesterday up there in turn number 1. So the Capex team got that car back underway. And this was a third car that the Capex stable had. That team was busy between the time of St. Petersburg and here getting that car built up, Cal.
Yeah, just a bad weekend for the Capex team, and particularly the 2016 champion Alvaro Parent got involved in an incident in race 1 early on. I think it was a consequence of the damage there. Maybe something got mixed. They were certainly one of the best prep teams in the business, but either way, had a massive failure late in the going in race 2. Lost his brakes down in the turn 10 brake area, and big impact. And the chassis was well and truly hit. They had to switch to this third backup car.
Looking at Jeff Siegel sitting third overall in that Ferrari of Vancouver. I would say he's going to turn it over to the AM of Wei Lu, but Wei Lu has just been so impressive in that car yesterday, and we've seen all weekend long.
Well, he qualified 4th yesterday. It was only 4/10 off Tony Vilander, a Ferrari factory driver, when you consider that Wei Lu was driving a TCB Mini, what was it, 3 or 4 years ago? I mean, what a step up for that man.
Yeah, 2015, he was doing that. Pit window is just getting ready to open as we get ready to take a quick break here and go back to our CBS Sports Network call. Once again, thank you so much for joining us here at world-challenge.com. Well, Miguel Molina continues to lead in his R. Ferry Motorsports Ferrari 488 GT3 over Scott Heckert, who has been nothing short of impressive here this weekend in that Lone Star Racing Mercedes-Benz, Cal.
Yeah, just incredible performance. He has nowhere near the experience. He did run in the Blancpain Endurance Championship with a big Mercedes team, Black Falcon. But to step into this level of intensity and keep it at the sharp end is amazing. It's going to come down to the pit stop, and imagine yesterday, R. Ferry Motorsports, I don't think they could do a better one, Jeff. 77.3 seconds with the time spent on pit lane. If you're under 77 seconds, you're going to have a penalty. So they gain track position on the Mercedes there. So it's up to everyone else to sharpen their calculators a little bit and do the same job here today.
And they'll be starting doing that here pretty quick. 15 seconds to go till that pit lane opens. So we'll see if there's going to be any takers. Now that the pros are in the car, I think Cal will see them continue to drive in that time, the 10-minute bracket?
Well, you got some really strong pairings, though, Jeff. You got Wieland who could jump into this Ferrari, so maybe our Ferrari will make that call early. You're rolling the dice a little bit. If other guys make their pit stop, then there should be a full caution period. You're going to lose that advantage. So I think if you've got a really strong second driver, certainly Heckert does. Mike Skeen put his car on the pole here yesterday. Maybe they'll make the call and bring him in.
Well, we'll see, because pit lane is now open, so we'll see how that works. They have until 35 minutes have elapsed. You have to get that pit stop done as long as you cross the line on the entrance to pit lane before that 35 minutes is expired. You are good to go. So we're getting ready to see if it plays out coming down through that turn 16, 17, 18 complex. Do we have any takers here? First down pit lane. Miguel Molina stays out and continues to lead here today as he comes down through turn number 20 in his Ferrari.
Look for Heckert. I think Heckert may have died for the pit lane. Yes, he does. I like that call. See who follows suit. Does the domino start to take place right here?
There's a battle between Matthew Jaminet and Schiller now as Schiller goes down on pit lane. Daniel Murad going to step into that vehicle, and that's expected as well, as Murad's a lot more familiar with this track in that car.
Yeah, for sure. So you can see kind of a split strategy. Kyle Witz is in. Eric Curran's going to get a little bit more track time, what he desperately needs. Just a handful of laps here. So Miguel Molina keeps pushing on hard here. And these hot laps, this may be the play, though. If you don't have any yellows, he's now out there on hot tires compared to, for example, Mike Skeen getting in on cold tires. That could extend the advantage a little bit, but then Tony Wieland is going to have cold tire out laps as well.
They'll have to try to get those Pirelli P0 tires up to temp right away. Let's get down to Ryan Marine for an update down on pit.
Daniel Morad getting strapped into the DeVilbiss Mercedes AMG GT3 for CRP Racing. Impressive opening stint from Fabian Schiller, the youngster from Germany, who did slip back a little bit towards the end of that stint. I asked the team, was there anything wrong? They said no. We heard nothing from Fabian on the radio. No problems. Just perhaps handling going off a bit on the car. Looks like Scuff Pirelli's going on for the DeVilbiss Mercedes. It's down off the jacks and back into the fight.
Holding them there a little bit, have to make this time as Scott Heckert, Mike Skeen comes back out with a 1 minute 18 second lap, so they missed the timing mark by 1.5 seconds. How about this for Scott Hargrove, though, in that FAF Porsche, only 0.8 of a second more, and devastation here for Andy Sutak and Alvaro Perret. 1 minute 30 second stop, a 90 second stop, 13 seconds over that mark, Cal.
That doesn't make any sense to me because he's come out right behind the two machine, so it's hard to believe there's a 13-second delta, so we'll have to check into that one. But either way, Perret's got his work cut out for him. He hasn't had the smoothest start to his 2018 campaign.
So 1 minute 18 seconds. You saw that pit delta for that DeVilbiss Mercedes. Daniel Murad now trying to get those Pirelli P0 tires up to temperature. Get the new knocked off of BC. Yeah, there's Perret now in that Bentley right behind Murad. Looking at some of the other pit deltas here, Michael Christensen taking over that number 24 Porsche, 117.694. And here is our GT AM leader, Martin Fuentes. Does he come into the pits this time? He does not, out on turn 20. So that means next time by, it looks like he'll have to take that lap. I don't think there's enough time to do 2 laps here, Cal.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of time to work with. Remember, it's 35 minutes that you have to work with to get in, so he's got another 6 minutes or so, and he's going to try and want to keep that experience behind the wheel. He's got a little bit more pace, a lot more experience with these Ferraris than his teammate Baccarella.
Right in front of him, if you look at that's Jerome Bleekemolen, one of the pros with Black Swan Racing for Tim Pappas. Your Intercontinental GT Champion points leader with this car, winning the Bathurst 12-hour race down in Australia to start the endurance season off for these cars. And he's doing the entire Intercontinental GT race. We'll see him at Spa and then Suzuka for the 10-hour, as well as the California 8-hour at the end of the year. But Jerome's going to stay in the car as long as he can, the pro versus the AM.
Yeah, you can see him, he's using all of the curb and more, and his wheels in the dirt, so wasn't quite content with about the 20-30 feet of curbing you can use. Want to be inside of that as well. One of the busiest GT drivers in the world. They typically compete for about 30 to 35 weekends each calendar year. Is much sought after by many teams throughout the globe.
He's been in a nice home with Black Swan Racing year after year with Tim Pappas. So good to see them keeping strong. Well, Miguel Molina still continues to lead. Scott Heckert Switching that car over to Mike Skeen behind the wheel, that number 80 Mercedes now, and Scott Hargrove, your double race winner at St. Petersburg, right on the back of Mike Skeen now.
Both those teams doing a nice job, pretty close to that 77-second pit lane delta that you have to meet, and how that is calculated. 45 seconds for the stop to change all 4 tires. Everyone has to do that in this race here this afternoon. And the driver changes, some guys are going it along like David Askew and some of the GT Cup runners, but everyone else is pretty much in for a driver change as well. Then you add the 32 seconds is what it takes to traverse pit lane at 35 miles an hour. That's where you get the 77 seconds.
Watching our pit lane lights heat up here. We're watching the live timing at home. You can click on the pit stop links and so you look at Hargrove trying to see if he can make a move on Mike Skeen down to the inside, but it's getting fast on pit lane now with only about 4 minutes to go before you have to make your pit stop. So if you're crossing the line now, not enough time to do 2 laps to get back around.
Oh, look at this battle developing. Scott Hargrove is a man on a mission right now. Skeen is pulling every trick he can right now to try and maintain that position. Brakes in the middle of the road into the brake zone for turn 12, ran a little bit wide. Scott Hargrove, while his tires are at their peak, he's trying to make them stick and get the grip and get the pass done. He doesn't want to experience what his teammate did yesterday with Wolf Hensler making a similar charge and then suddenly wearing out those front tires with the aero effect from the car in front of you.
You saw just a quick little bump there that he gave to the back of Mike Skeen's Mercedes, just jumping over the curbs a little bit. Both of these drivers pushing those track limits right to the edge, but they're battling. I don't think anyone's picking up a clear advantage against each other as Maximilian Soule giving that car over to Rodrigo Baptista, your Pro-Am leader early on at 1:19.463 was that pit time, 79 seconds. We have not seen our GTA leader come in yet.
Molina leads from Siegel, 2 Ferraris up front. The gap is 6 seconds right now. DL continues to run in the 3rd position. A strong run for the True Speed Audi. But here's Molina. How far will he push it? Will he be in this lap or the next one? He's in.
Your leader comes down to pit lane, brings that Ferrari of Ontario, Toronto, and Alberta 488 GT3 to pit lane. Tony Vilander will be waiting on the wall as they do that driver change, and you can see it's right down there in the middle of pit lane. Tony Vilander pumping himself up there as he's got his hand out letting him know to get his teammate down here on pit lane, and I believe Ryan Marine is down there with this Ferrari team.
That's exactly right. The Spaniard from Barcelona, Miguel Molina, brings this Ferrari to the attention of his Ferrari crew. He'll be replaced by Finland's Ferrari ace, Tony Vilander. He climbs inside, Molina hopping out quickly. The 2 crew members over the walls changing tires, a 3rd now to assist with the driver change. It's been an impressive run on an emotional weekend. Already a great victory yesterday for this squad, looking to build on that here today. Final tire going on now, crew coming over the wall. Actually, 1 more tire to go, but a lot of brake dust pouring out. He's been hard at work. Tony Vilander trying to bring it home for our Ferry.
Well, we'll be watching the times here. They got that car off the air jacks. It's at 1.1 minute, 6 seconds now, so he's got about 8 seconds to go down pit lane.
How close they cut it. It was just 3/10 outside the margin yesterday. Very much on top of that game. As he crosses the stripe, they give it a little bit more, 77.9, so about 9/10 of a second, but as quick as anyone else today.
Try to say a second and see how fast it is. Get a stopwatch and try to punch it twice with your finger and see if you can make it faster than a second. That's how close they were to the line.
Yeah, and I don't think they wanted to push it. They came in with a healthy lead. They could have probably shaved a few tenths off of that. A couple of teams 2 or 3 tenths quicker, but nothing to really worry about. Just a good clean stop right now. Tony Vilander just trying to generate tire temperature in those Pirelli P0s and now stretch the lead after everyone cycles through.
As they get cycled through, we'll get caught back up. But if you're a fan and want to follow along with Pirelli World Challenge competition, just go to the webpage at world-challenge.com. Driver profiles, links to the videos of past races, and all things PWC. Also search our Facebook page and go to Pirelli World Challenge Championships. Join that great group there and follow along at Twitter at WC Racing. I'll just finish another segment for our CBS Sports Network call, Cal, and boy, the pit stops get done, and so far no penalties, and we haven't really seen any all weekend long either.
No, it's actually been the reverse. A few teams who really haven't executed as close as we expect, but certainly some teams are totally on top of it. Big learning curve last year because we did run the Sprint X format last year, of course, throughout the course of the championship. So it was 5 Sprint weekends and 5 Sprint X weekends, and it could make or break. Certainly for this team, they did an excellent one yesterday and gained them the lead of the motor race.
And the only thing we're waiting on here is Jeff Siegel to see if he's on pit lane right now, and down to Ryan Marine. Watching Wei Lu get into that Ferrari, and we'll see they're on their pit stop. This is the last car to pit, was running 3rd overall in the standings. And we'll see how close they can time it. We'll watch for Vilander coming around, but Wei Lu steps in, and we talked about that young driver racing a TCB Honda Fit first, then a Mini Cooper here in the Pirelli World Challenge competition, and now into this Ferrari as we're waiting for that pit delta time. And the battle on now with Parker Chase, Daniel Murad, and Rodrigo Baptista.
Yeah, and Chase doesn't have the tire temperatures of these guys who are chasing after him. No pun intended. The chase for Chase.
Battle for 5th right now. It actually might be the battle for 4th once Wei Lu shuffles out, as looks like they got around him down here in the turn number 1. We'll see if that Ferrari is ahead, but it could be the battle for 6th as Murad down to the inside of Parker.
Yeah, Murad always super aggressive into that brake zone, into turn 1, and then just washes out wide, takes away the path of the other driver. Bentley trying to come back at Parker Chase as well, stuffs it down the inside, has to take to the curbs.
Remember, this Audi was behind the Bentley before the pit stops, and they were able to get that win, or get a lead here as Parker Chase doing everything he can to stay ahead of Rodrigo Baptista. These two drivers competed against each other last season in GTS category cars with the Ginetta for Parker and the Porsche for Rodrigo. Now they're here in this Audi and Bentley and GT3 machines.
Yeah, and competing in that Pro-Am category, so great job by Ryan Dial. Keeping it feisty. Baptista down to the inside, trying to make that move before Chase's tires really hit their sweet spot. Nice move there into the brake zone. Alvaro Parent now on the attack as well.
Well, your overall leader, Miguel Molina, did a superb job at the start of this race getting into the lead. Ryan Marine has caught up with him.
And as we've been watching this fantastic battle on track, Miguel, you were a part of it just a little while ago. How was your first stint?
Well, it was okay. I had a better pace at the beginning, so I tried to optimize my skills there, and I overtook the other Ferrari. So after that, I tried to push as much as possible, then to build a gap and just bring it to the pits to give the car to Tony in the first position. And we'll see now what's going to happen, but the car felt okay. Good stint, so let's see how we finish.
What did you tell Tony about how the car was handling, if anything?
Well, at the beginning we were struggling a bit with the rear axle, but it's normal. I mean, as more mileage you put in the tires, you start to slide a bit more. But I think we can make it to the end.
Very good. Best of luck.
Well, we're watching this battle heat up here with Parker Chase and Alvaro Parent. Parker Chase not giving the platinum-rated driver in the Bentley any room on the track here.
Well, talking to Ryan Dial, he said he just got to gain a little bit of confidence. Well, he is displaying that this afternoon. That was magical. What a move he put on Alvaro Parent, one of the best drivers in the world. Let's take a look at it. Side by side, Parent washes out there. And just Parker Chase just stuffs it down the inside. A little bit of an elbow rub, a little bit of argy-bargy, and takes the position from Alvaro.
He regained it back again, was able to get back around him down in turn number 20. You saw a little misstep from Parker Chase there as he got back to the power, and that let the Bentley move away. But good stuff from the young 17-year-old Parker Chase in that True Speed Audi R8.
I can just imagine Tyler Tadovic watching that move. He'd be about 10 feet off the ground. Leaping for joy. They got a lot of belief in this young man as he cuts his teeth in GT3 competition.
Well, Alvaro Parent moves into that 7th position over Parker Chase. Looking up front, though, it is Mike Skeen. Just set the fastest race lap last time by at a 2:07.799. We'll check out that battle here as they're spreading out. Alvaro Parent, good recovery for that driver and that team as well, having to go through the trials and tribulations of getting that car built up here.
Been a tough couple of weeks for this team, but they know it's a long championship season. Just keep clawing back, trying to gain some points. Really dodged the bullet yesterday with Soucek's incident with Yamane. There was major damage to the side sill of that Bentley, but Soucek was able to continue and scored some good points for the team.
Well, Alvaro Parent, your your 2016 Pirelli World Challenge GT champion. This team switching over from McLaren's to Bentley's this year, and it's been nothing but great success so far for that team. Those cars prepped by Flying Lizard Motorsports, of course, team Darren Law there, the project manager for K-Pax Racing. And says that got a lot of good lineup with Alvaro Parent, Suchek, Soule, and Rodrigo Baptista. Some good things coming from those Bentley Motorsports. Hopefully near the end of the season we'll see the debut of that brand new Bentley Continental GT3. If we're still watching this battle for second, Mike Skeen, we mentioned earlier, set that fastest race lap so far at a 2:07.799 last time by. Scott Hargrove. Yeah, Hargrove does not want to give it up, and he's right behind David Baker.
Oh, look at this. Hargrove was getting really aggressive there, trying to force the issue. Skeen was just trying to be patient. It really closed in on a leader, Tony Vilander. It's going to hurt them and increase that gap. But Hargrove looking for more. Really impressed with this young man to come back as he slides that Porsche through turn 9. To come back at St. Petersburg, having made the slight error in qualifying, tore off the right front corner, then came back to sweep the weekend. That is super impressive stuff from a man who's won many races in championship with Porsche machinery.
Well, battle heating up for second. Hargrove down to the inside, Cal.
Wow. Saw Skeen get momentarily balked through the S's by traffic as he was chasing after the leader, Tony Vilander. Now Skeen stuffs it back down the inside. What a battle for second here.
Well, I don't think Hargrove saw him coming, and Skeen just turned the wheel. Hargrove trying to go back down to the inside here, Cal.
Oh, look at these guys going hard at it. There's an elbow rub right there. Argy-bargy through 15 in the stadium section. Skeen comes back at him.
He'll have the inside through this quadruple apex turn 15, 16, 17, and 18 down the hill. Hargrove going to see if he can swing it wide, go back to the inside. Skeen protects. This is a battle for second overall in our GT category.
And all this is helping our leader, Tony Vilander, stretch it at the front. He was starting to feel the pressure, not in terms of the cars in his mirrors, but the gap was shrinking at the front of the field. And these two cars going side by side is going to hurt their lap times.
1.4 seconds was the gap last time by, now 3.6 seconds. Almost doubled that time when going side by side.
Some of it was with the traffic, certainly, but a lot of it, as you said, Jeff, was the side-by-side action. They need to settle in. Skeen has the pace. Hargrove has the pace as well. Does Tony Vilander have the pace to hang on with just under 18 minutes to go?
Watching this battle for second overall. See this as we see car 8-0, and there's their leader. Now Tony Vilander in that number 61 Ferrari Ontario, Toronto, and Alberta 488 GT3. As we see, looking for the double sweep here this weekend, as Vilander was able to get the win yesterday. And he's going to see if he can do that again today, as Daniel Murad in that DeVilbiss CRP Mercedes. Ryan Marine's caught up with the driver that started that car.
That's right, Fabian Schiller. Welcome to Pirelli World Challenge. It was kind of a last-minute deal to get you here, but you've been awfully fast. What have you thought about your experience so far?
Yeah, actually first time racing in America, so it's quite cool. I like it. Like especially the temperatures at the moment in Germany, it's quite cold, so yeah, nice to come. Yeah, I think so far so good. I mean, yesterday P2 was a great result. I think we didn't expect it coming from P7, but we were quite quick. We had a good car and a good teammate who made up positions at the start quite a lot. And yeah, today was a little bit more difficult. I struggled a lot with understeer, but I mean, yeah, I don't want to expect too much of myself. You know, I missed the Thursday test day. I came Friday, had 15 laps in practice. So I didn't have that much running. I didn't know the team. But I mean, yeah, I got welcomed really nicely from everyone, and I'm happy to be here.
Will we be seeing you in more Pirelli World Challenge races this year?
Yeah, that's the plan so far, I think, for all of the Sprint X races. So looking forward to the next ones.
Thank you very much.
Well, did a superb job there. Needless to say, he really likes the weather a lot better.
Yeah. Only about 60 degrees warmer here in Austin, Texas than Germany right now. But meanwhile, Baptista is the man on a charge there in that bright blue number 3 Bentley from K-Pax Racing. Just laid the fastest lap of the race down at a 2:07.6. And he is chasing hard after Daniel Murad for that top 5 position.
There's our GT Cup overall leader, Alan Metney. You see that iFly indoor skydiving on the side of that. If you don't want to jump out of a perfectly good airplane, you can always go there. And check that out. It was the proprietary sort of founder, was part of the U.S. parachute team, skydiving team there, and decided that, you know, getting a little bit older, maybe best not to jump out of planes anymore and figure out a way to do it on the ground. And if you haven't been to an iFly Center, they're pretty cool.
They really are. I have one near my house in Atlanta, and the car park is always crowded. It's super popular. Great innovation, and wish them the best of luck with that new business venture. But you're certainly flying this afternoon as well.
Good to see Kelly Moss come back in here to Pirelli World Challenge competition as well. With last time they were in the series with young Colin Thompson as part of this championship in the GT Cup, clinching that championship. So good to see it. They're starting off where they finished off last time, in first place.
Things settling in here. Wei Lu is doing a nice job sitting there in the 4th position. It's a nice gap right now of about 2 seconds over Daniel Morad, to see if he can hang on here in that bright white Ferrari of Vancouver entry.
Remember, Wei Lu and Jeff Siegel in that number 31 Ferrari sitting 4th overall. They're 4th in our GT Pro-Am category. Rodrigo Baptista and Maximine Soulet sitting in 2nd right now, 6th overall. And then it's Parker Chase, Ryan Dial, 3rd in our GT Pro-Am category. So they're fighting for overall positions, but that's your top 3 in our Pro-Am category here as he's trying to put it on to Daniel Moret.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see some of these young Chargers really come alive here this weekend. Guys like Baptista, guys like Parker Chase are really starting to show some mettle right now. They're gaining confidence race by race, and they're going to be super big factors as this championship wears through the season.
Got some superb GT world-class drivers with these young up-and-comers, all part of the Pirelli World Challenge season. And you speak about world-class drivers. Tony Vilander in this R. Ferry Motorsports Ferrari leading overall against a slew of great drivers here in our GT class. Well, back here at world-challenge.com for our web broadcast, just in our closing moments now, 12 minutes to go. And kind of losing our breath there with all the action going around here in GT class. What a great race, Calvin.
It's been awesome. Certainly spectacular stuff. Some really good, hard racing. And that's what I love to see. I mean, it's not give the positions away, but race hard. Trade a little paint here and there, but give each other some racing room. And I tell you what, that battle between Stint and Hargrove was simply sensational a few laps ago.
But don't forget, fans, when you're watching live at world-challenge.com, you see it as it happens here, and as we're doing it, you can watch our expanded coverage on CBS Sports Network coming up Sunday, April 1st at 4 p.m. Eastern for our GT category. GTS premieres on Thursday, April 5th at 8 p.m. And if you're a fan of our touring car categories, Thursday, April 12th at 8 p.m. on CBS Sports Network. Our GT Am leader, Martin Fuentes, started this car. It's Cesar Baccarella now behind the wheel of this Ferrari.
Yeah, going for a sweep of the weekend. David Askew right now is about 16 seconds behind Caesar, so he's had a nice strong run here for DXDT. That team campaigning a beautiful new AMG. It looks really cool with the carbon and the graphics on top.
Yeah, I don't know why these teams paint these carbon fiber bodies or wrap them. They look so cool. I'm so glad DXDT Racing put the Security National Mortgage stickers for their sponsor on there and left the rest of it carbon. It's the best looking car, I think, in the field, second to this Ferrari. Just watching Cesar Baccarella competed in the Ferrari Challenge season last year. He's going to do a couple Xfinity races this season at Daytona. Lives up near New Samara Beach in Florida. Has the Alpha Prime clothing line, going to be launching in about 30 days here, so make sure you check our Pirelli World Challenge website for links off to Alpha Prime, I'm sure, on his driver profile. Check out Alpha Prime. A couple great personalities here in the Pirelli World Challenge pit in that car. our GT-M category, once again over David Askew, and 3 wins on the season for Martin Fuentes, seeing if he can make it 4 wins.
Break in the CBS race core for now. We continue to give you the pictures from this awesome facility here at Circuit of the Americas. 20 turns, 3.4 miles. As you can see, folks, this racetrack has suddenly developed a few bumps over the last couple of years, which is certainly adding to the challenge and the excitement at the same time. Scott Hargrove has just settled in, recognize he's lost the edge in his tires possibly, and going to have to give that second position to Mike Skeen for the duration. Just under 9 minutes to go right now. Super impressed by this performance by Lone Star Racing. Mike Skeen, one of the best in the business. Been a stalwart of Pirelli World Challenge competition, predominantly with CRP Racing. Victories with the Corvette, then with the Audi. Just trying to slip through the net, is trying to re-establish himself, but every time he jumps behind the wheel, always seems to have the speed to compete with the best. Canadian Scott Hargrove, 2-time GT3 Cup winner in Canada. Used to running these double-header weekends. Course of 12 weekends last year, he had 10 victories out of 12 starts to dominate that championship, and he comes to the Pirelli World Challenge with the same team, same engineers, and they're a really tight-knit group. They're doing great things already. It's early days, but they're definitely the team to beat, it seems like, over the long duration of a championship season. Wei Lu continuing to do a great job. Sits about 9 seconds behind Hargrove right now on the racetrack, but holding down that 4th position. His teammate Jeff Siegel laid down a lap yesterday, nearly a second quicker than the Ferrari factory drivers in the 61 Ferry Motorsport car. And that was quite the statement, and hung on there in the initial laps, but eventually Miguel Molina found a way by. It's still a very impressive performance for the Ferrari of Vancouver entry.
Scott Hargrove in that Castro Porsche. Lost a little track against Mike Skeen. Doing the same lap times, pretty close to it, but he's fallen off just a little bit. Mike's picked it up a little bit and able to pull that 2-second gap now.
Yeah, I was just saying, Jeff, that I think maybe Hargrove has maybe lost the edge in his tires, just like Wolf Hensler, his teammate, had happened yesterday. It was such a fierce battle. You can now see Wei Lu. Those guys are getting a little bit closer to him, it looks like. Morad and Baptiste are gradually inching up on that Ferrari.
And Wei Lu leading in our Pro-Am category, his teammate Jeff Siegel, but battling right behind him, Rodrigo Baptista, 2nd place in our Pro-Am category. He's starting to close that gap.
Problem he's got Morad in between them, so he's got a lot of work to do in the last 6.5 minutes of this motor race.
That is the TR3 prepared Ferrari 488 GT3. Wei Lu behind the wheel. Ferrari of Vancouver on the side of that car. First time that team has been here in GT competition. Following our GT leader in his Ferrari. Down into our closing stages now, Calvin, as it is Tony Vilander in that number 61 488 GT3 Ferrari, doing a superb job, about a 5.2 second lead over Mike Skeen in 2nd.
Yeah, really controlled it very, very nicely. It looked at one point like Skeen and Hargrove were coming hard after him in terms of cutting that gap down to about 1.5 seconds. Then they hit traffic, got in their side-by-side battle. Tony continues to cruise at the front, looking to sweep this weekend and rebound from a difficult start at St. Petersburg. Had the pole position for race 1, but then had that incident in race 2. A lot of work for that race team to get this car back in operation.
Looking at our GT Pro-Am leader, Wei Lu in that Ferrari of Vancouver 488 GT3. So both of our GT Pro and Pro-Am categories led by Ferraris. Wei Lu just done a superb job here. Competed in the Pirelli World Challenge Championship in 2015 in a Mini Cooper in our touring car B-Spec, the entry level. Ran the last few years in Ferrari Challenge, but the Ferrari Challenge car versus this GT3 machine, Cal, way different.
Perfect ladder system, right? He's way impressive. He's way fast. I'm sure we'll have a lot more punch by the end of the year, but seeing Morad there come through 19, I'm sure the stewards are going to be on top of that. It was a little bit outside of the boundary line there in terms of track limits. Super impressed with Baptista. This is an awesome run for him. Going to give him a lot of confidence here, I think, with the charge he's made in the Bentley.
He wants to try to get up there and battle with Wei Lu for that lead in the Pro-Am category, but he's got Daniel Morad right in between them, so he's going to have to dispose of that to build his Mercedes first before he can even go battle Wei Lu. And only about 4 minutes to go in this session, so I think if Wei Lu can hold it all together, he might get his first win in here in Pirelli World Challenge competition. Had a penalty there yesterday, got dropped back 72 seconds in the overall standings, so was not able to secure that first win in Pirelli World Challenge competition.
Yeah, there's a little bit of contact. We didn't catch it on camera between this car with Ryan Leal behind the wheel and Jeff Siegel in the final moments of the race. First battle through turn 15, ended up with Ryan parked on the side of the road. Here's a good little battle.
There's a battle for the lead in our GT Cup. JC Perez and his Super Trofeo Lamborghini. Alan Metney has been the class of the field so far in our GT Cup category, but JC Perez just doing a great job getting around him.
Baker's right there as well. Everyone's in the mix here.
Yeah, not sure what happened with Metney as he had a huge lead. It was almost 9 seconds over second place in GT Cup, so that car has fallen off in the closing stages here, but great run for Metney in that Lamborghini Super Trofeo.
JC Perez has Gustavo Yackerman, a sports car stud, giving him some coaching advice this weekend. See the 41 car there, hopping the curb there through turn 10.
Yeah, young Alec Udell, unfortunately the team did so much to get that car built here in the last 4 or 5 days. Contact yesterday with Matthew Jaminet. I'm talking to Neville Agas there at GMG, and Alec Udell at the body shop, at the shop, helping out any way he can. So he's not just a driver, he's also a crew member, a team member, helping get his car ready, and great support by Loki. John Wise, an old crew member for the team, helped on his GT Cup car, Cal.
Yeah, it's really cool that a guy who worked on the race team has got this new venture, Loki, and has come back and said he knew that Alec was going through some rough times over the off-season in terms of getting his program together. He's come back with some support for Alec, and that's tremendous. James Safronis from GMG truly believes in Alec's talent, as we all do. And Metney just goes super wide there, opening the door. He's going to lose a lot of time to JC Perez by doing that. But Alec Udell, one of the very impressive youngsters in our paddock, and Curran is now off track.
Yeah, unfortunately for Eric Curran, the engine problems we talked about earlier with that car. Metney's still able to hold it over David Baker for that second position. So we'll see if he can hold on that number 99 iFly machine, second place. But JC Perez, your leader here. And no power steering reported from the pit lane in that number 41. So Alec Udell, all that time he spends in the gym, paying off here today.
That's right. I'll certainly turn you up. You probably won't be able to hit the gym for about 3 days after this weekend.
Loki's got a good search engine there. If you got an idea, they help you bring it to market. You can search for patents. It makes it really simple, really easy. Uses some pretty cool blockchain technology to make all that work. And, it's just a great company to be associated with, Alec Udell, and then here in motorsports with all the innovations that we have. So a little off there as he's coming down through the S's, Cal.
Yeah, really attacks the S's, and I think a lot of the co-drivers, Matthew Jaminet, have learned a different way to approach these S's. Spoke to Daniel Morad, who teamed with Jaminet before. He said he just gapped me by about 6/10 looking at data through the S's, and as opposed to just setting up, it seems like Jaminet just attacks the S's and just hangs on, and it gives him lap time.
Tony Vilander comes through that quadruple apex, number 15, 16, 17, 18, down into turn 19, looking for the white flag this time by. One more lap to go to sweep the weekend for that R Ferry Motorsports Ferrari.
I think Tony Vilander expected a similar weekend like this to St. Petersburg, but he realized quickly if you falter at all in Pirelli World Challenge competition, someone's going to bite you.
All the hard work that team paid off as we go back to that battle with Rodrigo Baptista in the GT Pro-Am category. Baptista trying to get around Morad. Wei Lu, the gap has closed a little bit, but still only one more lap to see if he can get around Morad and then battle Wei Lu. I got to think it's going to be Wei Lu's race to lose here.
Well, and whatever happens, it's just been a super impressive performance by Wei Lu all weekend long. As I mentioned, qualified 4th here yesterday, and just, okay, the gap is decreasing, but he's hanging on to that position right now. 4th overall and the Pro-Am lead.
0.4 of a second slower than the Ferrari factory driver of Tony Vilander in that qualifying session there. So that tells you the level of skill Wei Lu has in one of these Ferraris.
Yeah, and super impressive that the car is really quick as well. Jeff Siegel, that lap he put together yesterday when he had the fresh tires on in the middle of the race was equally impressive. So it's been a great run for these guys, and look forward to seeing them at the next round of the championship at VII. I understand they are committed for the full Sprint X championship.
Looking at that TR3 Motorsports
Oh, late
team.
move by Morad, looks to the inside. It looks so inviting down there, but eventually that guy's going to go for the apex. Daniel putting it all on the line for those precious points.
And the last thing that Wei Lu wants to have happen is Morad get side by side with him, slow him up, and let Bautista come try to pounce on that. So I think if he starts to get pressured, it might just be letting him go. And I think that's a little, just get him to look in his mirrors, flash the lights a little bit, get him off his game, and maybe pick up one more position. As Morad running in that 5th position, he's looking for overall GT points. Even though it's a Pro-Am car in front of him, he still gets only 5th place no matter what.
Yeah, so a lot of strategy. You need a lot of advice from the pit lane as the leader now coming through the final couple of corners.
Tony Vilander brings his R Ferry Ferrari down into turn number 20, hits the braking zone, could coast from here, a 3.7 second lead. Gets the checkered flag, sweeping the weekend for Ferrari and R Ferry. And I got to think Remo sitting in Italy watching this. Our thoughts and prayers are with you, my friend. But congratulations, sweeping the weekend here for that Ferrari team.
Super impressive, but so many performances to really give accolades to. Scott Heckett, Mike Skeen, great run for another podium finish. Scott Hargrove, that battle with Skeen was immense.
Yeah, Wolf Hensler, teammate there, driving that car. Alvaro Parent able to recover and finish 7th, but it is Wei Lu and Jeff Siegel, your GT Pro-Am race winners in their TR3 Motorsports Ferrari of Vancouver 488 GT3. 2nd place will go to Rodrigo Baptista, Maximilian Soule in the Bentley, and 3rd in our Pro-Am category, Parker Chase and Ryan Dial. Here's your GT-Am leader right now down into turn number 12. Cesar Baccarella, he's got to try to see if he can bring it home, has a few more corners to do to make it through before he gets down through the field.
Just got to keep it super clean here.
It's a
brilliant weekend for the Hublot Ferrari.
JC Perez leading in the number 71 GT Cup, comes around turn number 20. He'll get the win with a superb drive, and it was like Metne able to hold on to 2nd over David Baker for 3rd in our GT Cup class. Here comes Caesar coming down through turn number 19. How about this for Martin Fuentes, though? 4 wins in a row.
So you remember this happening once before, mate?
I think so, yeah. He had 9 in a row before, resetting the lap record away from Peter Cunningham, who holds pretty much every record in the Pirelli World Challenge book. As you see, Cesar Baccarella getting his 2nd win of the season, and Martin Fuentes 4th of the year. Looking at flashing his lights there, is excited behind the wheel of that Hublot Ferrari. Well, going to finish out as everybody's come down through. Take a quick look here at our GT results. Looking at our Pro category, and you can't say enough about that Ferrari 488 GT3. Tony Vilander, Miguel Molina getting the win in their Ferrari. Mike Skeen, Scott Heckert gets 2nd. Scott Hargrove with Wolf Hensler 3rd. Daniel Morad, Fabian Schiller in 4th. Alvaro Parent, Andy Sutak check in 5th. Michael Christensen, Spencer Pompelli able to get 6th. Alec Udell and Matthew Jaminet coming back from a power steering problem for 7. And we saw Eric Curran, Daniel Kivet in that Ferrari, Kyle Witz in that 7th place.
Should really help the Ferry team in the championship as well. Sweeping this weekend is going to be tight at the top.
Yeah, getting that little incident he had at St. Petersburg, and where it was a point where when that incident happened there was no points, and with the red flag later on he was able to really get points, and that could come big in the championship. Looking at our GT Pro-Am category, Wei Lu, Jeff Siegel getting the win. Rodrigo Baptista, Maximilian Soule in 2nd in the Bentley. Parker Chase, Ryan Dial in 3rd. Yuki Hirata, the brand new daddy, Congratulations to the Harada family in 4th, and Tim Pappas, Jerome Bleekemolen in 5th. Rounding out your top 5 in our GT Pro-Am category. But down on pit lane, you see Molina, and how about Tony Vilander? Ryan Marine down on pit lane with your race winners here today.
The celebration is a big one. It's been an emotional weekend for the R Ferry team. Miguel Molina, Tony Vilander exchanging congratulations. We get you to swap hats around. We'll get Tony's helmet off and chat with our race winners. A clean sweep of the weekend. We'll begin with you, Miguel. How about it? Sweeping the weekend, is it about as good as you could ask for?
Yeah, actually it was a almost perfect weekend for us, 2 victories, so really happy about the team, and especially to share that with Tony. It's a special weekend for us.
Now let's go ahead and get Tony in here as well. Tony Vilander finishing out that race. We talked yesterday about all the emotions that this team has been going through. To deliver the sweep of the weekend, how much does that mean?
No, it's incredible. I didn't help the situation race 2 at St. Pete, so what a first weekend with Miguel. I mean, just awesome. He's really laid back. Everything is fine with the setup, and he drives the car really fast, so it's a great combination. Thanks to the crew, rebuilding the car. Thanks to the crew for the great work the whole weekend. So thanks Ferrari, everybody who is involved in this program. Thank you. Awesome.
Congratulations. We'll see you at the next one.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
We'll see in the celebrations down there in that R Ferry team. Getting that race win here at Circuit of the Americas. The big tower. Get to overlook all the race action here in our GT category for Sprint X. And looking at our GT Cup standings here, it was a great race all race long. Metney had that lead, and JC Perez able to work himself around there. David Baker into that 3rd place in our GT Cup category. Looking at our GT-AM race winners now, Cesar Baccarella, teammate with Martin Fuentes, able to get the win there. David Askew gets in 2nd place, and the 71 finishing in 3rd. That was our GT Cup race with JC Perez getting the win. Alan Metney in 2nd, Baker in 3rd, and David Amaduzzi in 2nd, or 4th in GT Cup. Well, Ryan Marine down on pit lane.
That's right. We've got some more class winners to talk to. Wei Lu, Jeff Siegel. We chatted yesterday. We thought it was a time for celebration, and it ended up being a little bit different in the final analysis. But how does it feel? A little bit of redemption, perhaps, to come out on top here once again?
Well, it was a really difficult experience for me. First time driving these cars and racing, so a lot of stuff were new. Made a lot of mistakes, but I have a super fast teammate, and the team was fantastic. So great weekend.
And Jeff, I'm sure there were still some question marks coming into the weekend about just how competitive the group would be. Now that you know, does that change your expectations for the rest of the year?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, there were questions, but at the end of the day, this is a championship caliber team. They proved it last year. They were in the hunt the whole time. So really just a pleasure to be working with TR3 Racing, and thanks to Ferrari Vancouver for making this possible. I got to raise my hand again and apologize to the guys in the Audi from yesterday. I went up and apologized afterwards. Completely on me. I felt really bad about it. All you can do is apologize and go out and win the next day, and that's exactly what we did. So I'm very pleased.
Congratulations, guys. Well done.
Well, good run from that TR3 Racing team as well. They'll be back for all the Sprint X championship races with those 2 drivers. As that does round out our coverage here for the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix of Texas, right here at Circuit of the Americas. Wow, what a great race. What a great facility, Cal.
It is, and we saw some great side-by-side action. I can't get over that Skeen versus Hargrove battle. Some impressive performances from some of the youngsters on the GT field. Baptista had a strong day. Parker Chase, that battle he put together with Parent there on those opening couple of laps after the pit stop exchange was sensational too.
Well, just how racing should be here. All part of the Pirelli World Challenge competition. Well, for Calvin, Ryan, and our entire CBS Sport Network crew, I'm Jeff Lepper. In association with WC Vision, this has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, your 24-hour home of CBS Sports.